Hi guys, I'm Andy. Welcome back to Backpacking UK, the YouTube channel that's all about hiking, backpacking and wild camping. Right, today I've got a cracking little review for you. Should you buy an expanding backpack? Now this is a very special backpacking bag from Sierra Designs. It's called the Flex Capacitor. This particular version expands between 60 litres and 75 litres. Now, I think that's a great idea because so many people have to rely on one set of backpacking gear. Can't afford to have a summer set, like a spring, autumn set and a winter set. So they're looking to buy backpacking gear that lasts throughout the year. And this can really tick some of those boxes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the features of this Sierra Designs Flex Capacitor backpack. I'm going to talk about strengths, the weaknesses, and at the end of the day, should you buy an expanding backpack? So let's have a look at the features of the Sierra Designs Flex Capacitor. So let's start on the side. So you've got couple of clips, you've got a side pocket, you've got a zippered hip pocket, you've got a big 2-in-1 hip belt strap at the front, you've got two shoulder pockets, both which can be cinched, you've got an adjustable up and down sternum strap, you've got load lifters there. Now on the top is the main access to the main storage compartment, but you've also got a little sort of lid pocket there as well. Now on the side you've got another couple of straps, exactly the same, another hip belt pocket, another side pocket as well, but it's really nice and adjustable. Now it's got a very special sort of Y-frame suspension system, which is actually DAC. So if you think of expensive tent poles made by DAC, those sort of pole segments are actually used here. So you've got a Y-frame coming down that goes into one which runs all the way down. Now this doesn't have like a suspended mesh back, but it's got a reasonable amount of padding at the base of your back and also running up both sides of your back as well, so it allows air between the two. The actual shoulder straps themselves, again, sort of reasonable, again with the hip belt as well, that's actually got a good level of cushioning as well. But one thing I must say with the hip belt, it's not properly fastened, so your hips can't carry as much weight as they really should be able to. If this was fixed, it would be able to carry more weight from the hips rather than relying on your shoulders. Now the special feature here is if you want to take more, this is probably in 60 litre format, so if you want to put more in, you can just undo all of these straps and you can turn it into a 65, a 70 or a 75 litre backpack. It's really quite smart. So it goes sort of outwards, both from your back and to the sides as well, which is sort of good and bad. I think in the good sense, it keeps your weight quite central to your back. It's not coming over your head like a lot of packs. However, it can also come out backwards, which can sometimes just lead to a little bit of instability, and it can feel like it's coming out quite a lot at the sides as well. So good in a way it doesn't come really high, bad in a way it kind of goes outwards. So it's kind of benefits and drawbacks really. but it's a really quite a clever system. The only other thing I would say is, if you're using it as a 60-litre backpack, you do have all these sort of flappy straps, but then again, I suppose other backpacks, if you fully cinch them up to, it'd be a similar sort of story. So this is the backpack on. Now I'm 5'8", 172 centimetres, and I'm wearing the medium large version. So it's got lots of adjustment there, could go to much larger waists and chest size is as well, but the back is fixed. You can't change the size of the back, so you have to adjust it just using the adjustments here. But it does have load lifters as well, which is really quite nice, especially when you're carrying heavy loads. And inside this backpack, it's quite simply, it's just got one large compartment, but it has a large removable hydration reservoir sleeve. So if you don't use them, you can just undo the tabs, pull that out. If you do use a bladder, you can keep that in there and just poke the hydration reservoir just out of there and have it running down your left side or down your right side. Now there's a couple of things I'm not too sure about this backpack. Firstly, the side pockets, I've lost a litre bottle. They're not very high, so mine actually fell out in a place where I had no access to water. So that caused me a few problems, that did. So that's something to bear in mind. The pockets just aren't deep enough. Similarly, the shoulder strap pockets, they're okay for water bottles, but one thing I found, if I put my phone in there, my phone sticks out the top. If you get a bit of a wriggle on, there is the worry that your phone or sunglasses might pop out, because again, they're just not that deep. Now the hip belt pockets, bearing in mind it's got quite chunky hip belts, the pockets are actually really quite small, which is a bit funny. I think they could have come round more and had larger pockets. I think that would be a good thing, really. But the actual design, I'm not 100% that expanding your backpack in this way is necessarily the best way. Now, if you think of a normal backpacking bag, quite often you've got, say, Z straps down the side, or could have various straps, to be honest, that you can actually pull up, and that will cinch your backpack from the sides. So even a standard backpack, even though they're not promoted as being within a range, you can make them smaller, you can make them larger. Same with a standard backpack as well. If you think standard backpacks, it's got a lid on it, which quite often you can adjust from the back. The lid's quite often got little sort of straps here. You can strap the lid down, and also on the front as well, so you control the height of your backpack. So it sounds like an expandable backpack is like this brilliant new invention, but actually other packs do it already without making like a big deal about it. Now, one clear drawback for me as well with this type of system is there's no stash pocket on this. There's also not proper like eye sacks or trekking pole sort of attachments on here either. Now this is a backpack that weighs 1.21 kilos, so it's obviously going to miss some features, but I think a lot of the features that people like out of a backpacking bag are actually missing in this backpack. This is like 420D, which is really nice and thick, but the rest of this is 100D, which is quite thin for a backpacking bag. So, final thoughts: Sierra Design Flex Capacitor, £195, 1,210 grams. Now, it's a massive backpack for the weight, which is a massive tick. They've really lightened this. With the loads that I've taken, I've found it comfy, but I'm telling you now, these shoulder straps, the back and the hip sort of padding as well, I wouldn't want to go above 15 kilos. And if you've got 75 litres of gear, it's quite possible that you're going to do that. So I wouldn't recommend it as a 75 litre backpack, but I do think the shoulder pockets could be deeper, the side pockets could be way deeper, the hip belt pockets could be bigger. It's missing the stash pocket, there's no side access, there's no sleeping bag compartment, there's no access from the bottom, it's all through the top. I'm just not sure. I'm really not sure. And it's something, personally, I'm not really sure about recommending it. I think a standard backpack is the best way forward. And I also think that's probably why most people you see out there go for standard backpacks. But anyway, that's just my take on this Sierra Designs backpack. It is a very clever design, and I do love Sierra Designs products. They're extremely innovative, very, very different. All of their ranges are really well worth a look at. It's just thinking outside the box, which is great to see. But on this occasion, I'm just not sure. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. Please check out my videos. Hope to see you backpacking soon. Cheers.